ACRPC's executive director provide an overview of the formal review, if you don't mind, and maybe go over some of the items that were in this agenda that was included. And then after that, I would like to open it up to conversation by having members of the local government committee and the energy committee, both here and online, to ask questions about your plan and your process. Basically, this is kind of normally what we do, and we find it's a great way to share information and possibly find solutions to the challenges we all encounter during the planning process. After that part is done, I'd like the local government committee and the energy committees to deliberate publicly and vote to recommend or not recommend the Bristol plan to the full commission for regional approval and to confirm the planning process for the town of Bristol. All of this I'm hoping to get done in 30, 40 minutes time. And with that, I'll turn things over to Adam.
Thank you, Shannon. So I'm Adam Lucci, I'm Director of the Regional Planning Commission. I did the staff reviews of both the Bristol Town Plan and your Enhanced Energy Plan. I sent those reviews out to all of you prior to this hearing. And I guess I'll sum up my conclusions first, were that both of your, well, the plan, including the Enhanced Energy Plan, both met the statutory requirements. You included all the plan elements. Basically for the energy plan and for the full plan. I enjoyed reading your plan, and Bristol's been doing a lot of things to implement your plan. So I guess what I'd really like to do, Shannon, is hear from the public, since they're here. This is a public hearing. Yep. Happy to answer any questions if anybody had any on the staff review. But it was a positive review, and I'm pleased to deliver it to the town of Bristol.
Any public comments? Okay. Well, I will start with just a couple of questions and comments, and then we'll go around and get some from the other members of the review team. I agree with Adam. It was a really well put together plan, easy to read, easy to follow, easy to understand. You touch on a lot of really nice things that are going on here. One question I had was, can you explain maybe, or go into more detail and discuss the public process that went on, getting public opinion on how you were going, you know, how did it all come together, and what did you do to get public response? Because that's always a challenge.
It is. I came in, and Rob is probably, Bill's not here. Rob is probably the one that has the longest time with this thing. So I'll briefly comment, and then Rob, if you want to jump in with some perspective as well. I came into this mid to late in the process. Obviously, it was all during public meetings. We had considered doing some storefront postering, that sort of thing, but then COVID came into play, and we ended up not really facilitating any of that type of activity. We did have, obviously, the public hearings, the Planning Commission hearing, which was attended, and there was this dialogue and discussion at that. And then the select board held 2 hearings. Mm-hmm. And there was limited discussion. Most of it was from the select board, if I recall. There was limited at-large citizen participation at the select board level compared to the Planning Commission process level. So I don't know if Rob, if you want to embellish on that with some of the preceding things before I became involved.
Rob, maybe just flickered out. He's frozen.
Oh,
yeah, he looks like he's frozen.
Could I add something?
Yeah,
Kevin.
certainly.
So we did try, because of COVID, we tried to use electronic means to get it out. So we put notices on Front Porch Forum, and we also did well, I'll use this vernacular, an idiot's guide to the town plan. A short introduction, say, here's what the town plan is about, because it's very daunting to see a 180-page plan. So he said, here's what it's trying to do. Here's how it's set up. I know a couple of people said to me that was very useful because it gave them a little intro.
Thank you. Any other commission members have any comments about that process? Okay.
My only other question was, I had seen, for example, on page 59, a map for suitable private wells. I was just wondering, on the flip side, a lot of times, in one of these plans, you'll see like soil types that lead you to where it makes sense to be able to do wastewater or private sewer, that sort of facility. I didn't see that. I saw, the forest connection, all of those kinds of things. And I was just curious if that was considered or more of an oversight, or.
Do you have any recollection, Chris?
As far as like, I'm septic siting, is that what it's?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're listing where it makes most sense to have private wells going. And I was just wondering about, the end of that cycle, where those could go.
Right. We really didn't work on it that much. I used to be on the planning commission in the beginning of the
Understood.
process, moved on to zoning administrator and stepped away from this. But most of these are the soils we know that we have in Bristol. The village itself sits on basically a pile of gravel. It's talking with the local septic engineers. We're one of the few places where they can still pull off conventional septic.
Exactly.
As you get into the outer regions, we run into, it's more like mountain type systems are required.
Yeah.
And we do have a very small public
Mhm.
sewer. It just wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't a high focus point.
Which is fair. I mean, in other towns in Addison County, it's a very big deal.
Right, it's all clay.
Exactly. So it just struck me when I was reading through that. So those were my big questions and comments. So I'll open it up. Maybe Jeremy, since you're here.
Do we want to talk about the energy?
Absolutely.
Portion, the enhanced energy plan?
I think we can probably do them together.
Yeah.
We sent out both reviews and we're both here, so let's just do it.
Okay, I think it's a very good, well-crafted enhanced energy plan. I have a couple of just very minor comments. I'm interested that in the fact that you are a town that's seeing the arrival of natural gas, and I like the way you tempered the language around that, and described it as a temporary measure. We certainly can't continue to rely on that through 2050. I thought that was well done. One of my personal favorites is ground source heat pumps. I didn't see much of anything about ground source heat pumps, a little something about ground source. I think we're going to see more of them, and next time we get around to the plan, it might be interesting to look at that. I was interested looking at the graphs of residential versus commercial energy use, electrical usage. You're still going up on the commercial side, but it looks like you're really making progress already 2014 to 2018 on trimming residential electrical use, which is great. There's a lot of PV in town. I'm sort of scrolling through my highlights here. I really like the fact that you recommend encouraging preparation of electrical vehicle charging in housing, in new housing. One other thing I would say, I've seen this in my town and in other towns, is that there's a real lack of enforcement of the energy section of the existing residential building code. I think you could say a little more forcefully that you really want to see compliance. Because I think the rules in most towns that it's a real lack of compliance. But all in all, a really great looking plan.
So I guess what I like is just, you know, you passed it relatively recently, but you've already started I mean, you've been, as it's been evolving, you've been implementing both the village section and the housing section of your plan, and also the energy section. I mean, so that, you know, with the landfill, basically the town took advantage of that and has been working with Acorn and some citizens, and you have a lot of people buying into that right now. So it's nice to see it, you know, the language there in the plan, and then either the housing projects or the commercial projects like Stony Hill following, or the energy projects like your landfill projects following.
It was interesting to see, in fact, that that one of your preferred sites for renewables was the bit below the school, and if that had come up after the adoption of the plan, you would have seen the teeth that adoption of this energy plan carries.
We'll give you, yeah. How about folks that are joining us online? Cheryl, you're in my upper left corner, so what have you got?
Okay, I really enjoyed reading the plan. As much as I'm a next door neighbor, there was a lot of stuff I didn't realize. And coming from 1 square acre here in Virgins, when I get to the part of compatibility with neighboring towns, and to see something like, you know, a minimum building of like 25 acres, like, oh my God, there's so much space. I really enjoyed reading it. One of the things for the energy side of things, I didn't actually see this, but Jeremy triggered me to ask this question about building codes and electrical, possibility for electrical vehicle charging. I've just recently sort of been questioned on our Virgins plan about requiring electrical outlets in all new garages in order to have the ability to charge an electric car. And I guess I didn't read specifically in the plan. Was there something in the building section about having the ability to charge an electric vehicle in houses, in homes, and garages?
I don't think I saw that.
We debated that issue, and I think, Rob, you can jump in and comment as well. You were on the energy committee, but my recollection, we debated that issue and considered the trade-off and affordability of building a house and putting that additional cost in it versus where you may or may not need it, as opposed to identifying that cost, you know, when you actually purchase the vehicle. Do you have anything else to say or counter to that, Rob?
Yeah, I will just add that there was a lot of discussion about potential unforeseen consequences of potentially undue costs and burdens to homeowners and those trying to build within our town. So that was there was a lot of discussion about whether that should be specified or not, or encouraged.
Yeah, we I have bravely added it to ours because just having an electrical outlet in a new garage would be so handy for anything. And it doesn't have to be specific. It doesn't have to be a 220. It'd be nice because then it doesn't take as long. But so many people do charge their cars at home that we decided that would be a good thing to encourage in new garages. You know, we're not going to tell people they have to retrofit their garage with electrical outlets. But for new garages, we thought that would be a good thing to enforce if we can, just because that is where most people are going to charge their vehicle. But the other question that I had, and this was because of my solid waste hat, and this isn't worth doing anything about it this evening, but I did pick up on the fact that in the solid waste management paragraph, you mentioned that trash and recycling, if it couldn't be brought to the local drop-off or the local curbside, that it should be taken to the transfer station. And I just wanted to remind people that individuals cannot go down to the transfer station with their trash and recycling. It is purely for haulers to go to the transfer station for trash and recycling. So the thing that could have made that sentence work would be other materials could be taken down to the transfer station. Other things like a refrigerator or something like that. Yes, Melissa?
Businesses can go to the transfer station, not just haulers. That's where I have to go to take my recycling.
Right, but not trash.
Yes, trash as well. I don't do it very often, but yes, I can take trash there as a business. I was told when, the information that I received when the the landfill was closed was that businesses could not take trash or recycling to the pickup there. That's the information I received. And the woman at the transfer station wasn't quite sure about that. She thought, oh, well, you can just take the trash over to Bristol. But the letter that I received was that I could not as a business.
Oh, are they saying they're only taking it from residents?
That's what I was told, but of course that was, a few years ago. So I probably need to check into that. But as a business, they do allow me to take trash and recycling there.
Yeah, it isn't clear in the plan. It kind of reads for like everybody. I would just hate to have somebody like go down there with their bag of trash and get turned away. But any trash and recycling should be accepted from the whatever you have set up right now in Bristol, the private pickup, and also curbside. But it's just the individual stuff. And it's a small detail. I'm sure nobody's going to read this plan and then head down there with their one bag of trash. It's just something to stick away for next time it gets edited and cleaned up a bit. And who knows what will happen by then anyway, right?
Jeff had a clarification.
Yeah, what it says is trash and recycling not accepted by drop-off or haulers has to be taken to the transfer
So that
station.
would be, yes.
So that's precisely talking about your refrigerator or your old cabinets or something like that, but it could be a little clearer. I would agree.
It could just say other materials not accepted can go to the transfer station, something along those lines. Just so people don't think that they can take their bag of trash down there. We would love to have it come down to the transfer station, but the town of Middlebury says no, so.
Thank you, Cheryl. Anything else for you?
Only one comment. I can't believe how much available solar acreage is available in Bristol. That's really amazing. The statement that if solar was placed on the available acreage, that it would like 100% fulfill all of your solar needs. That's amazing. So it's a great plan. I really liked reading it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ross.
Good evening. I think the town of Bristol is ahead of most of the towns in Addison County in moving forward on energy issues. So I commend you for that. The regional planning staff has gone through it. It meets all the requirements for an enhanced energy plan. The only possible real criticism I might have would be the one I have for pretty much every plan, including Regional Planning Commission's plan, is that it doesn't do enough fast enough to really adequately deal with the situation that's rapid.
Everyone does need
An emergency.
Can you have my phone? There you go.
We'll be back as soon as we can. You may not hang out.
Can you mute before you go? Oh,
Adam, hit
no.
mute.
Mute.
Mute, mute, mute.
Mute.
There we go.
Thank you.
That would have been fun.
Cheryl, it's
Yeah.
Peggy here. I'm not sure I caught all the names of those in the town offices. I've got obviously Adam and Chris, but there was two others. Do you know? I think Shannon. Did I get it
Oh,
right?
Shannon Haggett. Yep.
Shannon
Shannon
Haggett.
Haggett. I think he's chair of the local government committee on regional. He's on the planning commission in Virgins as well.
I think Jeff.
And then
Lund-
Jeremy was sitting behind the table. He's the chair of the energy committee at regional.
What's his last name?
Grip.
Grip, I think. Grip, is that it, Ross?
Yep.
Grip.
Great. And then Melissa, wasn't Jeff in there too? Rob, was Jeff in there? Yep, that's what I got. And Adam and Chris. Have I got everybody that was in the office?
There was Jeff Lundstedt.
Yep.
Lloyd Dyke
Oh.
was there, and Kevin Hansen.
You said Lloyd, right?
Yes,
And his last name is?
Dyke.
Great. Okay, thanks a lot.
Yep.
The audio is iffy.
Well, I wonder if their alarms went off because of an electrical hit in the area.
I wonder.
Maybe. It's getting pretty bad where I am. The trees are
Yep.
going pretty good. So
It's super dark here in Middlebury, but nothing severe yet.
We'll send it down to you.
No.
It's actually starting to lighten up here, so it's
Good.
not a forever thing.
No.
So how long do we wait?
So Ross, what size are each of your 4 solar panels? Or maybe you have more than 4 now.
If I recall correctly, it's about 6 to 7. No, what is it? 70 something kilowatts each, I think. I've got 6 of them now, and
Like 6?
yep,
Are they all identical?
I think it's about 1,800 there now. They're all
Okay,
different.
so each
So
one
no,
is,
that must be 300. Yeah,
yeah, each one's about 300,
right. Yeah, they've gone up a lot. I mean, the technology's improving.
right?
Amazing.
Are they all identical?
Yes.
What kind of charge controller do you have? grand or whatever.
You're testing me here. I was gonna go with the Outback, but it's more expensive and it's a different, I don't think it's an Outback. It's a different one, but it's another kind of common one. I
Mhm.
can't remember what it is.
Do you know if it uses MPPT technology?
That I don't know. What is
It's
NPPT?
It's
technology?
maximum PowerPoint transfer. Nothing to do with slides, but it's flexible in the amount of input voltage that can come in. Like I have one, when I first got it, I set it up for 12-volt battery bank. Then I bought another inverter that would take 24-volt input. But in either case, I can take up to 100 volts input coming off the solar array, and it'll produce the proper output. And it works to you get more power out of the other one. The other one starts with I think it's can't remember the other one, but it's a pulse width modulated one, pulse width modulated, PWM, and that one is not as good. Do you know if you have flexibility on what kind of voltage you can feed your inverter with, your charge controller? Sorry.
It regulates it for the batteries. I know that,
Mhm.
you know, to protect the batteries.
Yeah, but does it have a wide range or a fairly narrow range of what you can put in?
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not that into all the, as long as it works and I've got some power,
Sure.
I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be putting in, I've got two panels about the size of yours, are 305s. They're made by a company called Trina, Trina. And I bought 4 of those, and then they're about to discontinue those in the beginning. Now they're totally discontinued. So I had to buy some other ones that are nearly discontinued. And I bought six of those, and they're also 305s by Trina. And I gotta dig some holes for my ground mount system that they're very tough digging. It's almost like digging into rock, but looks like dirt, you know.
You must live at the base of the mountain.
Well, actually, no, this is on Butler Island on Lake Champlain, which is just a huge, 30-foot high pile of shale, kind of. So, but I did put a refrigerator in a couple of weeks ago. It's what do you have for batteries?
6 volt, well, it's 24 volt system.
Yep.
I just have 8 6-volt batteries there. I use the glass mat because I've got a unheated shed that I keep everything in. Basically underneath the panels, I closed it in, made a shed out of it and stuck everything in there. Oh, sounds like the storms made it here to Middlebury.
Yep.
Oh.
It's still here too.
So yours are AGM batteries?
Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
they don't care about the temperature. You don't have to keep them warm.
Yeah. I got lower cost batteries than that. I only have 4 in series for 24. Mine are,
I got 8, but sometimes it's not quite enough, especially when we get a lot of rain for a period, or even in the winter, it gets a little dicey sometimes. So when it's time to upgrade, I think I'm gonna go for 12.
yep. Mm-hmm. The lithium batteries are a good thing, but they need to be warm. You gotta can go down to 5 degrees Celsius, which is about 38, 39 or something like that, I guess, in Fahrenheit. But
I'm wondering if there's anyone here that wants to chair the meeting at some point, if we can continue, or do you think we'd need to, uh-oh, I think I'm losing connection.
Does anybody
Can you hear
have
me?
Adam's number, his cell number to call him?
Getting on.
I don't know that we'd be able to continue without everybody else. We don't have
Yeah.
the proper people enough. We don't even have a quorum in attendance at the moment, so.
Gotcha.
What do we need for a quorum? Is it a quorum of the Energy Committee, a quorum of local government, and a quorum of regional?
That I'm not sure of. I know of our board, we don't have a Bristol plan, and there's not a quorum at the moment.
Yeah.
As far as for approval, I'm not positive on that.
The lights came back on or something. Oh, the thing's still,
It's still
Still
flashing.
yeah. I've got cheap Costco interstate golf cart batteries.
Oh,
I've heard
gracious.
golf cart batteries can work real well. They're used to being charged and drained a lot, so and
Yeah,
they're not too heavy.
yeah. They're just simple flooded lead acid, but my next step's gonna be the lithium ion, lithium ion, but the ion is special. Lithium iron sulfate is the ion, iron sulfate is the ion, I guess they use.
I was reading recently about, I forget, I think it was some kind of a potassium based new battery that's also like the glass mat and it can handle any temperature. I was gonna check those out.
Yeah,
The technology is moving pretty quick.
They definitely need to get rid of lithium. Dangerous to mine.
Hmm.
Bad for the environment.
I
Wow.
guess it must be right up there with Bitcoin then.
Yeah.
I think I found Adam's cell. I'll see if he's answering.
I just emailed him and haven't gotten a reply back. So I don't know if he has, I would assume he's got email on his cell.
I guess they're just sitting, they're
Hey,
sitting
Adam.
in their cars,
There
I
you go.
guess. Oh, there we go.
Too bad they couldn't have taken their computer with them and met out in a
Right. They could go to a library or something, zoom in with us. How far do you let your batteries go down, Ross?
I never let them go below 24 volts.
Okay. Do you have like a percent indicator
That's it.
anywhere? Or-
Yeah, but I ignore it because I don't trust it. I just go by the
Yeah.
voltage.
Yep. That's probably a pretty good practice. The 24
I
volt.
think it's the most practical.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're always worrying and trying to keep it at 80% or 100. It's, yeah. I know one guy, he's constantly running his generator to keep his batteries charged. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. 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 I bought a thing called a smart shunt that will give me the percent reading. It tracks the amp hours going each way, this way, that way, and yeah, I have Victron Energy.
Okay. So I just talked to Adam and he said that the fire department is on its way. So they have to come and shut off the alarms and the flashers. I thought that was the case. Usually in a state type of building, municipal building, the fire department has to come. He said they're on their way. He said it shouldn't be very much longer and we should all hang out and wait. Yay. I guess Shannon thought that we were more than halfway done and so doesn't think it will take very long to wrap stuff up when they get back in the office.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Yeah. He should know better than to put his cell phone number on emails. We know how to track him down. Jeremy was interested in whether it's lit up here in Virgins, and I told him it really has. As you can see from my back door there, it's much lighter outside, and the wind has mostly stopped, so.
Yeah, we got a downpour here in Middlebury.
That's because I sent it down to you. Sorry, Peggy.
Yeah, we received it. Message received.
Now you have to pick a town and send it on.
That's all.
Send it down south.
Looks like maybe they turned it off because the lights aren't flashing anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They usually just have to come and go to that one little firebox and turn a switch.
And maybe try to figure out why it, it was
Yeah,
shut off.
that's the much harder part.
Yeah,
The good news is it doesn't look like the building's burning down.
yeah.
Ours went off recently and we couldn't figure out what the heck. We've got three floors, the basement up to the top floor. And we ended up having to just like disconnect all of them because once they're connected, they just keep going off and then put them back up and then they were okay. So I don't know what set them off. I wasn't cooking or anything.
Yeah, it's always fun when you're cooking and they go, evacuate, evacuate. And you're all your neighbors know. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, especially when it's talking to you, right?
Yeah, some of those interconnected fire alarm things can be as annoying as the tire pressure monitor system with your tires.
In theory, it's a good idea, but if something goes wrong, it's
No.
all wrong.
That was a cat, Rich. I saw the tail in the corner of your screen for about 5 minutes. Now I see it's a cat.
Sounds like our wine cellar is flooded.
Uh-oh.
Better start drinking.
Party at Carol's.
That lower shelf's got to go.
What can we do to help?
Next meeting, I'll be there in person. Door prizes for everybody. My husband's rescuing bottles. I lived in California for about 5 years, and so I got kind of spoiled by some Napa Valley stuff. So when I moved back home, I brought some with me, and so that's what we have stuck down in the cellars. Some good Napa wine that is harder to get here in Vermont.
That's it.
But it's actually, my daughter used to be upset saying, "Oh, sure, I have to put myself through college, but you can have wine." Like, yes, That is the way it works.
And her point was,
I'm sorry, that's what I had to do. Yep.
we all have our priorities.
Just to let you know, my power's kind of flickering, so if I disappear, that's why. We'll see.
Maybe your smoke detector will go off also.
Oh, God.
One of those nights. Oh, we have folks coming back.
Looks like we lost Ross.
They look wet.
Hey, Ross is back.
Yeah, the laptop battery died. Had to go get the plug and plug it in.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. We're back. I don't want to deny anybody their chance to ask questions or make comments, but I would ask that you be concise as possible, because I know that these guys have other things on their agenda after we're through. So we were with you, Ross.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say that, like all the plans, I don't think it really goes far enough, fast enough to really adequately deal with the situation we're in, but you're doing better than most towns, I think, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. Andrew, do you have anything?
Now I'm unmuted.
There you go.
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Rich?
I'd like to concisely say that on page 150, there could be an error in the units of energy. There's a reference to kilowatts, and energy is also a time, there's a time element to it. So it would be like kilowatt hours. I'm not sure if that's kilowatt hours per day or what, but there needs to be, you know, I don't know, it might be looked at. The other thing, I'm not sure if I saw it in there might be if it's not in there ought to be something to discuss the public transportation being operated by renewable energy, not just necessarily electric, but whatever. Seems to be the common one now. And overall, I'd like to say it's very nicely done, and I'd like to thank the people who put all the hard work into it.
Thank you.
That was concise enough.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rich. Jim?
Thank you, Shannon. Looked through the plan, very great, you know, good formatting, easy to read. There were a number of really nice photos and images in there. I think Adam did a really thorough job on the review, and would suggest that the Planning Commission really look at his recommendations and take a close look at them in the future for consideration in the next round.
Super, thank you. Anybody else, public, planning commission, anybody? Any comments, questions, concerns?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So on page 1, and I think someplace else also, it talks about whether we should consider pursuing a neighborhood development area.
Yeah.
For areas of the village adjacent to the designated downtown. What is a neighborhood development area, and how would that work?
Okay. I can actually jump in on that if you
Go ahead.
don't mind. So a neighborhood development area is usually held within a half-mile planning boundary within the outside of your designated downtown. And if you qualify and you successfully apply, and it would go to the Vermont Downtown Board, much like your designated downtown would, It gives you benefits as far as streamlined Act 250 process for your development team, things like that. So there are some attractive reasons to do it. There are maybe 5 or 6 in the state at this point.
Maybe.
Most of them are in Chittenden County. We're trying in other areas, but it's something worth looking at and considering. And if it's something you want to explore more fully, the staff at ACRPC can certainly help you with that process.
Okay.
Anybody else, anything? Hearing none. Yes.
I did have one question about the review that was written. I don't know if it was Adam that wrote it, I believe, or somebody else. There was a comment about trying to find it now, PUDs and implementation. And I just wanted some more clarity on that. I know my comment's not very clear as it is.
Page
but-
3, at the bottom of page 3.
Under the housing plan.
Section 810.
Yes. So Rob, let's see, your plan speaks about using PUDs more effectively. But I'd heard that your development review board was struggling with them a little bit. So I didn't know whether that was something that had come to the planning commission's attention or if it was something you wanted to talk about more. I mean, one of the points of this consultation is, are there trainings that you would like from the regional planning commission? Are there other things that we can do for you, the planning commission, or the DRB, or the select board, or the town of Bristol in general? So that's a little bit of where that recommendation stemmed from.
Okay, all right. I was curious if there was a specific, with the comment about struggling with them, if there was a specific instance or something, just trying to understand where that's coming from. You know, DRB is new, they're trying to get the new regs in everything too. So it's all kind of new at this point.
Rob, this is Chris. I actually reached out to Adam after the DRB meeting, where they ran through the first round of the PUDs. And I just thought there was a lot of confusion amongst the board, and that's what helped precipitate this part of the conversation.
Okay, I was just trying to fully understand, that's all.
Anything else from anyone? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion. Actually, I'll preface that. I'll say that, as we've said, the staff has reviewed the plan and determined that the Bristol plan meets Vermont state requirements of 24 VSA section 4382 and 24 VSA section 4302. And so I would entertain a motion to recommend the Bristol plan, including the enhanced energy plan, to the full Addison County Planning Board for regional approval, and to confirm the planning process for the town of Bristol.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Yep.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Jeremy seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will ask. All in favor, please indicate by giving us a thumbs up.
How about I say aye?
You can say aye, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? I think Ross might be stuck.
We'll take that as a yes.
We'll take that. Great.
He doesn't complain.
So the next full commission meeting is September 8th. And at that point, the local government committee and the energy committee will make the recommendation to the full board to do just what we said, approve the plan and the enhanced energy plan, and to confirm the planning process. And then staff will be in touch with you afterward with what the results are. Thank you so much for your time and your energy in putting all of this together. we all know firsthand that it's a process, it's a chore, but well done, thank you.
You're certainly welcome, and I'd like to highlight that, and you talked about how well these plans were written. We had a lot of help from regional planning, from Katie, who was on the board at the time, as well as Andrew LaRoe. And they both did a fabulous job. Andrew came in here cold and really picked up on the plan and had a lot of contributions to it. So we certainly appreciate the support that the Regional Planning Commission gave us through our redevelopment of the plan as well.
Thank you. Did you have any other questions, concerns, comments?
Just one, and I guess it would be to the planning commission, is there anything else that we can do for you? Is there something you'd like us to take away that, you know, you'd like to see a training on something, you've got some sort of implementation plans in mind and you'd like help with those? So it's a pretty open question.
So I will defer to commission members. Jeff, why don't you
Well,
start?
I think we don't know yet, okay, because we've been waiting for this to all be approved. We've had a few discussions about there's a large number of action items and areas that we have to decide. Kevin held a discussion with the select board last month about what do they see as priority areas. So I think we need to figure out what are the priority areas and then figure out what training and assistance, what grants we might be looking for, what type of studies. We're really very preliminary on that.
Okay.
I'm sure there will be things. Okay, that's a marker. But it's too sure everything, right? I think that'd be another way to say it. But we don't know specifically yet what we would want.
Thank you. Melissa, you have any comment?
No. I mean, I had no hand in the writing of the plan because I'm new, but I'm actually still going through it. So,
Okay, thank you, Rob.
but
I don't have anything else. I appreciate all the comments and good feedback. So it's good to know and have a starting point for the next round that's already looming.
I think I will add that this is a relatively young board. There's been changeover through the plan, writing of the plan, as well as after the plan has been completed. So I think there are people that are eager to understand and give a fresh input as to what might be valued in the town from a planning point of view. We have gone through and early on divvied up or segregated out and have circulated based on action tasks, assignments to the different entities, groups, if you will, within the town. We've got a variety of responses from that, some very enthusiastic and some are, yep, we agree. And so we've been working that list. We've been sort of talking amongst us kids about what the planning commission had assigned to itself through that implementation task, and that will become a conversation over the next few meetings to really hone in on that and understand what our direction is, and kind of also, at least in my mind, I still got in the back of my mind is I don't believe there's a big disconnect between the plan and our current regulations, but nonetheless, given some of the conversations with the regulations, particularly with housing, which is a hot button and maybe something that's overplayed potentially, I don't know, that we're right to at least take another look at those regulations and try to look through that. So, and I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said, but we're pretty young in the process and we're a pretty young board too, so we will be obviously looking for expertise as we go through this process.
Great. Well, when you figure it out, where you want to go, and yeah, if you have questions, please reach out to us. We're here for you, for our member municipalities. So thank you for having us tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And with that, I will relinquish back over and now your meeting. We are done. Thank you.
Our meeting is essentially your agenda, so.
Oh,
Good.
If I guess at this point, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Somebody second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your
Aye.
hand. Anybody opposed? Abstentions? Great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Great.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
All right.